Hey, how's it going? I just finished this game called Nightmare Reaper, and wow, what a crazy game this was. I was expecting something short and kind of maybe a little bit fun here and there, but kind of cheap and cheesy or something, but actually turned out to be something absolutely insane. The amount of content in this game is pretty crazy. The whole game took me, I think it was like 26 hours to beat, and there's new game pluses. I didn't do the new game plus. There's 3 new game pluses though, 3 levels of it I think, and I'm not exactly sure what they add to it, but playing through the game on its own, just regular style, 26 hours it took me. But it was fun almost the entire time. It was like so much action and fun. I would say the only time that it was kind of a little bit boring or frustrating was mostly in like the first third of the game, or first quarter, maybe first quarter and a bit, because the levels are procedurally generated, so you can actually, if you die and you have to come back or whatever, the level will be completely different. It'll have the same textures and everything, matching with whatever sort of world you're on. Each world has like 3 levels in it, so and each of those have their own textures and things like that, so it all looks really neat each time it switches to a new world. And but it's always the same sort of blocky rooms, and even the same rooms you'll see. You'll notice when you're playing that there's doors that are closed and some will be open, and on replays and other ones you'll find the same rooms and the different doors will be open, and you know, because it sets them up differently, how it shifts the rooms around and everything. But the first quarter and a bit, I was getting really kind of annoyed. I was wondering, like, is this all it's going to be? It was fun, but like it was a bit frustrating always playing through. Like sometimes I would play through a level and I'd get to the next level and I'd be running through some of the same rooms I had just finished. So it's kind of annoying a bit like that. But once I got past that little section, the game sort of like opened up a lot, and I was in this sort of city where I was like, it was like this large city. Instead of being like a linear path where you go along, it was a city where I could go around, and there's different worlds I could go into. Like I would choose the order, I guess. And wow, at that point things became a lot better for the level, how it was generating the levels. The rooms maybe are way better, and it's better designed, and the whole rest of the game, the rest of the way, was so awesome. Just that first little bit there. Yeah, it was just the levels though. Like the fighting the monsters and stuff is always fun, even in those levels. But once you get past that part, it's really, really cool. And the levels go everywhere. They go like, I think they go up into space at one point. You're in caves. You're in like flesh places. You're all over the place. There's so many different sort of worlds where they each have like the 3 levels. A lot of them have a boss too, and the bosses aren't too bad. A couple of the bosses are really hard though, and one thing about this game that's a bit frustrating, another thing is, because it's got like, it's a looter shooter, like it's a first person looter shooter, where you get to keep one gun after each level with you, and then you have to pick up all the rest. Each level they'll be randomly generated or randomly chosen or whatever, randomly distributed, that's the one, and you'll be picking those up. But you lose those at the end of the level. You sell them off for gold, which you can use to... oh my god, there's so much to this game. There's so much content. There's actually almost too much. Like, I was playing this game, and like so many times I'm just like overwhelmed with how much I've been doing and have to do. And there's so much. With each new world, it would also give you a new enemy type. So, and then from then on, the worlds would feature different enemies, and you might see one of those types in it. But like, there's so many different types of enemies in this game, and so many weapons too. So many amazing weapons. There's a few weapons that kind of suck. Most of them are good, and some of them are just amazing. Like one of my favorites is the it's called the Hive Queen, and it launches like these moths that come out and they'll go like, they're like acid moths, and they'll kill a guy. But you can also, each weapon has a secondary fire too. Some of them have multiple, and you can shoot out like a nest. Just this nest comes out, and all these moths come out, and they go after whoever's nearest to them. Yeah, they're kind of cool. I guess they home in a little bit. Yeah, they do. Ha! Sweet. And There's a mini nuke launcher. That one is so amazing to use. Hello, new people. Got something for you. Ooh, that was awesome. There's a weapon. There's the... I don't remember what it's called in this. It has the Judge Dredd gun in there. You can even switch between the different types of rounds. Armor piercing, incendiary, and it says them all too. There's melee weapons for up close. Katanas. There's like swords, axes. You got like shurikens. So many guns in this game. Nail guns. There's so many. There's even magic. You have magic books, spell books to cast things, magic wands and staffs. Unbelievable. So much work probably went into this game, and it's so amazing. Everything looks great too. Amazing pixel art the whole way through the game. Everything looks so amazing.
I like the look of everything in this game. It looks real nice.
The blood effects when you get to explode the guys is so cool. And you can, sometimes you have a slow motion effect. And so that's really cool, just like slow motion power-ups and things like that. But you'll blast the guy and the blood will be coming out, spurting out real slow like this. And you can just run around blasting guys, and oh man, so fun. I love it. It's so good. As for some of the extra content, I was saying there's just so much in this. To power up, because it's a roguelite game, you can power up your guy permanently using sort of like mini games that are sort of outside the game. Or rather, they run throughout everything, even your resets. Or your deaths or respawns and everything. And you can power up your guy, but you do so by... basically playing like a really cheap but decent Super Mario Brothers 3 world map with levels kind of thing, and it's not just the first one. It has all the friggin' worlds from the game in it, and you have to go level by level, and it takes forever to get through this. And you gotta spend your coins in there. You get coins in the actual matches or whatever. You get the coins, and you can spend them in there to power yourself up. Increase the amount of coins that are worth, so instead of picking up a coin and getting 1, you can pick it up, you get 10. And so there's that whole mini game thing, which is really cool. There's a little mini Pokemon game in there as well, where you capture monsters and you use them to fight other guys, again to unlock power-ups, to power up yourself in the actual game, and all kinds of little things like that. Your weapons abilities, make them stronger, give yourself more critical, that kind of thing. Then there's also like a shooter, a shmup one, where you collect jade coins. Oh my god, I forgot there's an arena. There's an arena in this too, which you can get jade coins with, which you can use in the shmup that you play in this game. Where and I didn't even get to the end of this thing. There's just so many worlds. I saw that I got to level 10 at one point, and I was like, oh my god, I can't keep playing this thing. But I was at level 10 in there or something, and like just discovering worlds and flying through and shooting them in this little shmup mini game thing. Again, in this you unlock in this one you all unlock special abilities, and no, I think you unlock also other skills, but you actually get new moves in this too. Like this one, like ledge grab. There's something else, like you grab the explosive barrel and kick it or something. And there's a few other skills you can unlock in that one. Along with the weapons in the game, you also have a grappling hook. Not at first, but eventually you'll unlock a grappling hook, which is so amazing to use. You can swing around with this thing, almost like Spider-Man or something. It's hilarious. And at one point, you upgrade it so you can go even farther. And at that point, some of the levels you can see far off distant floating islands and stuff. And so you can like zip line all the way over there. And it's so fun once you unlock this thing. You need it, of course, in some of the levels. And it's got great music, too. Every time you get into combat, you get some like really cool like heavy metal stuff going on there. Awesome guitar and drums. It sounds awesome. I think normally there isn't really much music unless you're fighting. There's just sort of background ambience and like sort of sounds from the different levels that match with the environment. Also, even just walking around, it's so amazing. Just so much work went into this. Like just walking around, you can hear like your different footsteps and all the different types of textures on the ground. Even boss characters, they're decent. They're not too crazy, just for those couple ones. Final boss fight was at first I got my ass kicked, but then I restarted and went back through. I got there fairly quickly, which was cool. And that time, I did really good. I kicked ass in that one. And but I didn't actually finish the hospital. I didn't mention the hospital yet. Oh yeah, this in between each mission or round, you go back to this hospital because you're in the game. You're this character who's in like an insane asylum, and she's in this hospital, and she sleeps in a bed, and that's when you play the levels, when she's asleep in the bed. After you beat a level or you die, you'll wake up in your room somewhere. Sometimes just on the toilet. You just wake up on the toilet, and so you walk over to your bed and go back to sleep again. It took me a while to figure out that I could actually read papers, but you have papers in your room. There's like a stack on your table, and if you read these papers, each one there's a number at the top, and each level you get a new paper. So I use that to track what level I was on. And it has audio as well. It tells you the story. Each page has their own voiceover and stuff. And this hospital is very creepy. There's a whole like game outside of the game within the hospital as well. Like you'll awaken sometimes and things will be weird. Lights will be off, or you'll hear weird voices, and you'll go open the door, and then you'll notice that, oh wait, there's a set of keys on the ground here. So you'll pick them up, and then suddenly one of the doors you couldn't open before, you can open it. And so you go through there, and you know, things will slowly unlock as you play if you also keep checking the hospital. And you'll get there's this whole other sort of thing. That's how you unlock more stuff, and even access the arena, which is the arena is pretty fun. I had a good time in the second level of the arena. You unlock 2 pretty easily, and the other 2 I didn't unlock. I'm not sure. Maybe they only unlock on New Game Pluses or something. But there's 4 arenas in here, and they're basically like a wave survival kind of thing, where you're in this enclosed level. It's a usually nice area we can run around and zip around and all that. But there's and they'll send waves of guys at you, and you get jade coins from this one, which you can then use back in your shmup to get more power-ups. I came up with an amazing plan. I got the Great Chainsaw. It's this super long chainsaw, and I found a room, and I stood in the room, and I just had the chainsaw at the door. So anybody comes by, just run up. The head just comes off, or they'll stand there, just cut them up or whatever. I used that to completely beat the second arena. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun with that. The guns also seem to unlock a bit also as you play along in different sort of like ranges. Like the first, you know, you'll have a set of guns that are sort of reserved for the later half of the game. You won't see them in the first. And as you move along, you know, then they'll start appearing more. But you're not going to see like the mini nuke, you know, in the first quarter of the game or something like that. Eventually, though, they'll come out. So it's kind of cool in that way, because you always have something new to see. And like the whole way through the game, I was always seeing new stuff. So it always felt sort of fresh and new, even though it's procedurally generated. And I had so much fun. The enemies, too. There's not many that are... there's only a few that are like reskins, but most of them are unique. One thing that was awesome for me with the weapons, I found one that was a heavy machine gun at one point, and this became my main weapon for the rest of the game. Every time I ended the level, I would keep this thing because it was just so good. It's a heavy machine gun, so it holds a lot of ammo, hits hard, and it had 2 power-ups on it. One of them, I forget what one of them was, but one of them was 84% leech. So 84 shots out of 100 would have leached 2 hit points from the enemy to me. And so it would be such a great way to stay like with high health. I guess every time I'm shooting the guys, health is just coming right at me, and I'm collecting all this health all the time. That weapon saved me so much. But one thing that can suck is if you pick a bad weapon at the end of the level, you pick a bad weapon to go into the next level, then you're stuck with that because you'll only have that when you load up. And then if there's a whole bunch of guys or something, it's going to be a really tough fight because you're going to be stuck with a really bad weapon. So that can be frustrating. And it really sucks too if you get a bunch of really good weapons, or you get right near the end of the level and you die for some reason. Oh my god, that's so frustrating because boom, right back to the start. You have to do the whole level again. It's rearranged, reconfigured. That's all. And if that happens to you multiple times in a row, oh my god, that can be frustrating. I think I would give Nightmare Reaper a 9 out of 10. It's so good. Absolute must play if you like these types of games. It's a looter shooter. It's not like it's not so much a boomer shooter like a Doom clone. It's more of a looter shooter, really. So where you get every level you got to pick up new guns and get new guns, and they'll have, it's not just new guns, they'll have random stats on them too, like different buffs or power-ups. And there's different levels too. There's normal, common, sort of rare, legendary, all those different types of things. Such a good game. Nightmare Reaper. Wow. I never heard of this game either. I just saw it on the Steam sale and I thought, oh, this looks kind of cool. It might be a little cheap little FPS, but whatever. Probably won't hold up to the other games, but I'll give it a shot. So I got it on the Steam sale. But wow, oh my god. So amazing. I'm so glad I bought this. Absolutely holds up with all the other games. Even despite the procedural generation and the repetitiveness in the start, still holds up to the others. Really good game. Anyways, that's it for Nightmare Reaper. So hit the subscribe button if you feel like it. Leave a comment if you want. Maybe if you have any suggestions for cool old school games to check out, or mods for old school games, or like brand new old school games. Anyways, yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.